gentlemen, boys and girls, wake the hell up, turn the volume way up, because we've got a huge episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. We got the College Football Championship Week Primer episode. I'm Matt Kobold, and joining me tonight, it's been a while. It's been a minute. Our Big 12 representative, everything Iowa State Cyclone, Brad McDonald. Brad, what's up, man?
Hey, bud. It's good to see you, man. Glad to be back on here. You can imagine what my excitement's like right now, being that my team's finally in there.
Hell yeah, finally in there. Hell of a season from your Iowa State Cyclones. That's a huge reason we got you on here today. They're in the Big 12 Championship. But before we get into the games, before we get into a little Heisman talk, what's been going on with you, man? What's new?
Oh, man, just working, watching nothing but sports. I'm not a big baseball guy. So, when basketball and football starts, it's cold as shit in the Midwest. I'm going to sit in the man cave, and I'm going to watch all of it. That's been the life right now.
Hell yeah. And speaking of basketball, college basketball, your Iowa State Cyclones got a big one last night. You want to tell us about that?
Right. Yeah. So I had to miss a little bit of it, was busy until about 10 minutes into it, but starting it from the beginning, and was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a blowout. And then got a little closer for a minute. I think they got the lead for a second in the second half.
Came back. Marquette, came back.
But, they're undefeated at home last year. I don't care who you are. You're not coming in against this team, especially with how good they are in offense. They're known for their defense. This year, this is the deepest team TJ's ever had. And he goes to Sweet 16 every year. Yeah. If they don't go to the Elite Eight, Final Four, I'm going to be disappointed.
I know you saw that game pick that we made last week with Marquette and Iowa State, and I'm on the size. I like the size. I like the beef, and Tamin Lipsey as your leader. And Keyshawn Gilbert. Keyshawn Gilbert's a player, man.
I was going to say, Lipsey hasn't played well all year long.
Yeah.
And so once he, off-season surgery on his shoulder. So, give him some time to catch up. But we're so much deeper, so much better, more talented on offense. There's at least 3 guys on that team that are going to be playing the NBA next year.
I like it. I think Iowa State's definitely a Final Four contender this season. Definitely.
Oh, 100%, dude.
But that's all the college basketball that you're going to hear today on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. All college football. Like I said, it's the championship week primer episode. We're picking the 5 power conference championship games. But let's start with a little bit of Heisman talk here, Brad.
All right, let's go.
The Heisman finalists will be announced on Monday, December 9th. We'll get that top 4 on this upcoming Monday. The actual ceremony will be on Saturday, December 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's a top 2 for everybody. It's a top 2, whatever. If you wanna debate it, you can. But it's 1-2. It's these 2 guys and then everybody else. Let's just look at the 3 quarterbacks that I want to throw in there right now. Number 1, Oregon. Yes, I'm wearing the shirt. It's the only shirt I had of any of the teams playing in championship week, so I threw it on. Shout out to Sam. Shout out your buddy Sam, former roommate, former co-worker. We went to the Oregon game a couple years ago, home opener, Fresno State. And then I went the next year and saw UCLA with Justina, our friend. So shout out to Sam and Justina, but Sammy got the same shirt too. But we got to throw their quarterback in the mix, Dylan Gabriel. He's 10th in passing yards, 3rd in completion percentage, and 18th in passing touchdowns. I want to throw Cam Ward in there for Miami. 2nd in passing yards, 15th in completion percentage, but leads the nation with 36 passing touchdowns. And then you know what? I got to throw Shedeur Sanders in there. If you want to call me a homer, you want to call me biased because I'm living out here in Colorado, about 40 minutes from campus, you want to call me biased, go ahead. I'm going to throw Shedeur in there because he's 3rd in passing yards, 2nd in completion percentage, and 2nd in passing touchdowns. Better numbers than both Gabriel and Cam Ward. Throw those guys in order for me there, Brad, those quarterbacks.
In my opinion, it's Shedeur number 1, but he's not going to finish that high just because, unfortunately, the Heisman's always the best or the quarterback on the best team.
Yep.
Oregon's ranked number one, so right now, Dylan Gabriel's probably ahead of him. But I mean, NFL scouts say it unanimously, pretty much at this point in time, that Shador is going to be the first quarterback taken.
He's looking
So,
like it.
and his numbers are better, which is why it doesn't make any sense. I'm guessing they're dividing the votes based off of two guys on the
Yeah.
same team that are in
Yeah.
it. So,
Tough, tough.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But
I
then I'm going to have to go Dylan Gabriel second. I would have to say Cam Ward, he's had a good year,
yeah.
statistically great, whatever. But that Miami team's not that good. They should have
Man,
lost so many games this year that they didn't.
disappointing.
What is Virginia Tech one? Wasn't that one that they called it a touchdown at first and then reversed it? Yeah, like what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Losing two
So
losing
nah.
two of the last three, Cam Ward, he's kind of falling down for me a little
Yeah.
bit.
No, yeah, I wouldn't even put it in the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dylan Gabriel's going to New York. He's going to be a Heisman
Sure.
finalist here,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
like I'm with you too. Shador Sanders, his numbers are better than those other guys, but
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward might end up being there because he's been in the conversation all season, so he might end up going to New
Yeah.
York.
It's the unfortunate thing with the Heisman. It's a bunch of dog shit. Like, I mean, look at some of the guys that have won. Yeah, Josh Heupel really crushed it in the NFL. He was a solid quarterback.
Right,
Or
right.
did he play for Oklahoma and they whooped everyone's ass every game?
Sure, sure.
That's what it is. And like, yeah, I feel like some of the voters don't really, I don't know. I don't really understand. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
Yeah,
the best player wins almost
yeah,
never.
yeah. It's too many quarterbacks for
Yeah, it's
sure.
too many quarterbacks.
But
Hmm.
let's look at the top two for this year's Heisman. Put them in whatever order you want, but let's look at Ashton Jeanty first, the Boise State Bronco running back. Brad, I don't know if you know this. He's got 2,288 rushing yards. That leads the nation, obviously, by 628 yards. He's got 628 more
Hmm.
rushing yards than number two. Those
Yeah.
2,288 rushing yards is the fifth most ever in a single season. The fifth most ever. His
Hmm.
28 rushing touchdowns leads the nation by three. 7.3 rushing yards per carry. 190.7 rushing yards per game. And damn it, he's 341 rushing yards away from passing Barry Sanders' all-time single-season rushing record set in 1988. He wins this Mountain West Conference championship. He goes into the playoff. He should do it, Brad. What's your thoughts on Ashton Jeanty in this possible record-breaking season?
It's wonderful. He's great. Great college running back. Great. If it was any other year, I'm giving it to him.
No doubt.
But
No doubt.
the other guy in the argument is the best at two positions.
Yeah.
So, like, this has never happened before. Barry Sanders has gotten close to whatever Genty's going to get,
Mhm.
but no one's ever done. Desmond Howard wasn't good on this side of the both sides of the ball. Deion Sanders wasn't that good on both sides of the ball. We all know
Right.
who I'm talking about, obviously.
I'll throw Charles Woodson in the mix, won the
Charles
Heisman
Woodson, yeah,
recognition.
still not as good as him on both sides of the ball.
And the other guy that we're talking about here, of course, is Colorado Buffalo Travis Hunter. Let's look at the numbers here. 92 receptions, led the Big 12 and was fifth in the nation. 1,152 receiving yards was fifth in the nation. 14 receiving touchdowns, that led the Big 12 and was second in the nation. He had seven 100-yard receiving games. Like you said, he plays the other side of the ball, Brad. He had a 90.9 coverage grade that was third amongst cornerbacks and a 90.3 defensive grade, also third amongst cornerbacks. He allowed one touchdown on the season and snagged four picks. So he's a top two, top three receiver. He's a top
Hmm.
two, top three cornerback. Is there any way that the Heisman isn't coming out here to Boulder, Colorado, Brad?
Well, I mean, I just went on a rant on how the Heisman voters are stupid. So yeah, there's a chance. But I
Chance.
mean, I feel like any football fan that has seen this player play,
Mm-hmm.
even if you hate Colorado, which many of my friends
A
do,
lot of
yeah,
haters.
Big 12 guy,
Sure.
but we all agree this is the best player I've ever seen play college football.
Woo.
Period.
Woo. I like it.
I
I
mean,
like
it
it.
is. No one's ever done this. The amount of snaps per game. I haven't looked that up or if they even have it.
Mhm.
Snaps per game. He's got a,
Yeah, yeah, they got that. They got that.
yeah,
It's outrageous. It's
yeah.
outrageous.
Exactly. It's got to be, I mean, he's doing like 120 some a game. That's stupid. And
Yeah,
then
it
just special teams and return stuff too. It's like, this
got to be
guy's unreal.
exhausting. Got to be
Yeah.
exhausting. And the
Hmm.
fact that he's which side of the ball he's is he better on? We don't even know. That's a debate which side he's better
Hmm.
at.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll tell you which side he's going to play. Offense, because they make
Yeah.
$10 million more a
Oh yeah.
year at
No doubt.
least than
Yeah.
corners. I mean,
Yeah.
like
I
that's
I
an
will
easy answer.
I know my Tennessee Titans need a quarterback, but I would not be mad if we saw Travis Hunter in a Titans jersey next year. I would
I
love
don't
that.
blame you.
I think the Heisman is coming out here to Boulder. Travis Hunter is a
Yeah.
special, electrifying player. It's too bad, like you said, Ashton Jeanty. Any other season,
Yeah.
man, he's the Heisman. I
And
think
I'd
he
love to see a smaller school team like guy get it, but
sure,
this is not real. He's a
right,
video game
right.
hunter. So it's like you have to, otherwise you're being biased, I think, at this point.
Lastly, here does Ashton Jeanty break the all-time rushing record in a single season?
I hope so. I really do. Um, but so how short was he?
341 rushing yards away. He's got this Mountain West Conference championship. He wins that. He's in the playoff. Then who knows?
Mhm. Well, we'll get into the matchup on that, I'm assuming later, but
Of course,
he didn't have the best game he's had against UNLV last time.
true.
So,
It's true. Getting into these championship game previews, Brad, we're going to pick the five big ones, the five ones that matter the most. The top four of these are going to get a first round bye, and the fifth one's going to get seated where they're seated. But let's do them in chronological order here.
okay.
Tomorrow night, Friday night, baby, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on Fox. We got the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Number 20, the Running Rebels of UNLV at 10-2 versus the Boise State Broncos, ranked number 10, sitting at 11-1. This one's being played at Albertsons Stadium in Boise, Idaho. This is a home game. This is a home game for the Broncos, Brad. And like we just mentioned, they played already this year on October 25th in
Hmm.
Vegas. Boise State got them by 5, 29-24. Looking at UNLV real quick, their two losses this season came from Boise State and Syracuse by a field goal in overtime. Solid. Strength of schedule. All these strength of schedules and strength of records today are according to ESPN. Strength of schedule for UNLV is 107th. Strength of record 29th. Looking at the Broncos of Boise State, their only loss might be the best loss of anybody. Came back in week 2 at Oregon, 37-34. Great game. Strength of schedule 86th. Strength of record 13th. Brad, what do you got for me on these two teams and where you going?
So the last time they met, I saw an interesting stat actually. Going into that game, Genty was averaging 11.7 yards on
Mm,
first down.
mm,
Even though everyone knows that's where it's going,
right.
they slowed him down. And he had, not one of his best games. So, like, I looked at a few other stats too, and UNLV, their quarterback, I think it's going to be Boise State's defense is going to be kind of decide this game. They are not very good. I think 77th, according to Pro Football Focus and defense, but they have a good passing defense. Last game, I believe, was it Williams? Is that correct? Yeah, their quarterback. He ran for 149 yards on him.
Hello.
Yeah. So if they can stop him from running the ball, then it's all Boise State. But I mean, Boise doesn't have much outside of Genty,
Yeah,
you know. So I'm leaning Boise, even though it's tough to beat the same team twice in a year.
you're right. You're right. It is tough. But I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you, Brad. Boise State at home is huge. This is a home game, only home game we're going to talk about tonight. We,
Hmm.
we got a low of 27 degrees in Boise, Idaho on Friday night. That's going to be too
It's going
cold
to be
for
on
those
the
Vegas
ground.
running Rebels. Going to be
Uh,
too cold for those Bulls.
I
I'm
don't
with you.
know. I don't know. The one other stat I forgot about. So Williams, quarterback UNLV, he actually outrushed Gentry the last time they played each other
Wow. I didn't know that.
on 19 fewer carries.
Didn't know that. Didn't know
Hmm.
that. You switching your pick,
Hmm.
you staying with the Broncos.
Nope. Still going. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Early in the season, things change throughout the year. I
Oh, yeah.
think Boise's hot, and I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about UNLV. I know
Yeah.
more about Boise. Well, I've watched a few of their games,
Of course.
so I'm no hunch more than anything on that one.
Mm.
It's really a toss-up. It's going to be a close game. I'd say within like 6 points or under for
Oh
sure. I would
yeah.
say bowl
Oh
game.
yeah. All these games are going to be tight. Lastly, on this one, can Boise State lose this game and still make the playoff? I'm going to say no. They're out.
Nope, nope.
Not two
There's
Mountain
too
Western
many
Conference
multiple
teams.
loss schools within major conferences.
I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No way.
Next game, a big one here, Brad. One of the biggest reasons you're on this episode tonight. On Saturday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time on ABC. We got the Big 12 championship game, boys, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. We got the Cyclones, your Cyclones of Iowa State, 10-2, ranked 16th, taking on the Sun Devils of Arizona State, ranked 15th, also 10-2. Look at your Cyclones first here, Brad. They have ranked wins at Iowa and over Kansas State. Their two losses came in back-to-back weeks versus Texas Tech and at Kansas. Strength of schedule 68th, strength of record 15th. Arizona State, the Sun Devils. They have ranked wins over Utah, at Kansas State, and BYU. So they both beat Kansas State. Arizona State's two losses came at Texas Tech. So they both lost to Texas Tech
Mhm.
and at Cincinnati. Strength of schedule for Arizona State is 72nd. Strength of record is 16th. Brad, no way in hell you're going to pick against your Cyclones.
Duh.
So tell me what's going to be the X factor, the main thing that gets this one done on Saturday morning.
Well, it's the battle of the white running backs this game. You don't see it very often,
You
but both
don't?
schools got one that's kind of lead back. But Iowa State has just a stable of backs, really.
Mm-hmm.
They use Sama, Jackson, and Carson. But uh, I think it's going to come down to the run game. So Iowa State, out of all their losses, it's when they or close wins even is a team that can run, and if you have a running quarterback, then you're really in trouble. Scadabo's what, like I think fifth in rushing in
He's up there.
NCAA, something like that. He's
He's
up
up
there.
there.
Yeah, so that worries me. But Tyson, their number one wide receiver, is out.
Yep. That's huge.
But Iowa State's defense of 3-3-5 really doesn't, well, at least this year has not been very good against the run. So that does scare me that one of their strengths is at running back. But all three of the quarterback, number one receiver, and Scadabo, they're all like some of the highest. I think they're like 84 on PFF all year or above. So they have three solid core, and they're on a 5-game winning streak, and they're just whooping people's asses right now. So to say I'm not frightened would be a lie.
Right.
But I don't know. I believe in Matt Campbell, and I do think for Iowa State weakness wise, Rocco Beck the last half of the season hasn't been as good at protecting the football as he was in the first half of the season. But he has had multiple game-winning drives, including the less than 2 minutes left against UCF, no timeouts, went right down the field. And it's one of those things, if we need a last-minute drive, he's he's
Big
baby
balls.
Brock, man.
Big balls.
He reminds me a lot of Brock Purdy.
Oh,
Like he can coming in the clutch, kind of the same stature and everything, can run the ball a little bit too, but can make some miraculous plays, but might be known for being a little turnover happy and not protecting the football. So I think I would say key to victory, long sustained drives and backed keeps the turnovers to one or less.
I like
If we
it.
get to 5-1, if we get to, I don't know.
I like that. I like that. This was the toughest one for me to pick. I was back and forth on this one. It's a
Mhm.
toss up. You mentioned Jordan Tyson, the sophomore wide receiver for the Sun Devils. 75 catches for 1,101 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. Those receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, both top 10 in the nation, but season-ending surgery for an
Mhm.
unspecified injury. So that's
Mhm.
a big loss, Brad. That's a big loss when you're
Mhm.
splitting hairs, when you got a toss up
Mhm.
game, you're trying to find those kind of things. I'm with you. I'm going your Cyclones to win this game, get in the
Yeah,
playoff.
buddy.
I got to shout out though Arizona State coach Kenny Dillingham. He was 3 and
Oh
9
man.
last season. 3 and 9 last
Yeah.
season in his first year in Tempe. He's only 34 years old. He's only
Hmm.
34, guys.
Yeah.
They were picked to finish dead last in the Big
Yeah.
12 this year. And they go all the way to championship game. Shout out to Kenny Dillingham and these Sun
Yeah.
Devils.
Hell of a job.
But damn it, I got you just missing the playoff. Sorry to my father-in-law, Rich Payton. He went to Arizona State, spent a couple of years in Tempe. I'm sorry. I hope you still serve me on Christmas, but I'm going against you on Saturday morning.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, obviously me too. No matter what, that's where I'm going, you
No,
know.
no doubt.
But I think it's going to be a tight one. I don't know if I'm guessing it's going to be kind of high scoring with the way Arizona State's played, but Iowa State's pass defense is great, but I wish Scadbo was at Matt Tyson. I'm just saying.
Moving along, next game on Saturday, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, also on ABC. We got the SEC championship game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Brad, I don't know if you've been in there, but boy, that's a slick
Mm-mm,
stadium. That's a slick stadium.
mm-mm.
We got the number 5 Dogs of Georgia sitting at 10-2, playing the Longhorns of Texas, number 2 at 11-1. Now, this is also a rematch here, just like Boise State, UNLV. Georgia went to Texas on October 19th, beat them boys 30-15. Sloppy game, 7 turnovers combined. Biggest thing there for me was Georgia on the ground, 108 to 29 rushing yard margin.
Mhm.
Georgia over Texas in that game. Looking at the Dogs real quick, they have ranked wins over Clemson, at Texas, and Tennessee. Their 2 losses came at Bama and at Ole Miss. Strength of schedule is third. Strength of record is second. My goodness. Looking at the Longhorns, they have ranked wins at Michigan, over Oklahoma, at Vanderbilt, and at Texas A&M. Their only loss came at the hands of these Dogs, Brad. Strength
Mhm.
of schedule for Texas is 32nd, which is solid, but it's actually last in the SEC. And their strength of record is third. Give me your thoughts on Georgia, Texas, and where you going in this one.
Well, I think everyone everyone just kisses the ass of SEC teams all the goddamn time, and I think that affects the strength of schedule, strength of record,
I
everything
agree.
like that.
I agree.
Because I don't think Texas really because yeah, you mentioned oh God, Michigan
Yeah.
earlier as one of the ranked wins. They're not good,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
And so like I don't think Texas really played anyone. When they did, they got their ass whooped.
Yeah.
But one thing, like I was reading, Texas has, I mean, it has one of the best defenses in the country, but they basically never blitz. Beck struggles against blitzes. So if they mix it up there, maybe they've got a shot. And Georgia's been so inconsistent this year,
Sure.
you know? So I mean, I gotta lead. I'm leaning with Georgia. I, in my heart, I want to pick Texas because I would love to see a Big 12 school come into the SEC the first year.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Well, already they're in the championship game, and
True.
they always said we sucked. So I
True.
mean, proof's in the pudding there. Oh, no one else can do it. And, oh, first year we're in the championship game. Oh
True.
yeah, so tough. Yeah,
True,
yeah.
true. But I think I'm right there with you, Brad. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go those Dogs too, like you said. Texas, who have they played? Who have they
Who they
really
played?
played? And
That was
the
a
one
big
time,
note after this. Who they played?
and the one time they played these Dogs, they got their ass smacked at home.
Hmm.
And this is a home game for Georgia,
Yeah.
just like it's a home game for
Oh,
Boise
exactly.
State. It's in Atlanta, about two
Yeah.
hours away from Athens. That's gonna be a lot of dogs there,
Hmm.
and Georgia's defensive line, oh, a lot of beef. A lot of
Hmm.
beef they're going to be eating. They're going to be eating in this one.
Hmm.
Texas, they're probably without their starting All-American left tackle, Kelvin Banks, in this one. Going to be a freshman in there. I got the Dogs with you.
I would like to see it to turn into the old SEC or national championship game where they pull Ewers and put in old Arch Manning there to come and save the day. That's the only way I'm going to enjoy this one.
I think everybody wants to see Arch. I think everybody wants to see
Yeah,
him.
I think Ewers, he's good, but
Sure,
come on, let's see the prize.
I'm with you. Moving along, Saturday, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on ABC. We got the ACC championship game. This baby's at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Panthers' home. We got the 17th ranked Clemson Tigers getting lucky at 9-3 and slipping in there. They're playing the Ponies of SMU, sitting at 11-1. Let's look at Clemson here. They have no wins over a ranked team this year. No wins for Clemson over a ranked team. Their 3 losses came from Georgia, Louisville, and South Carolina. Strength of schedule is 53rd. Strength of record is 26th. The Ponies of SMU, they have ranked wins at Louisville and over Pittsburgh. Only loss came back in week 3 at home to BYU by a field goal. Strength of schedule is 75th. Strength of record is 9th. Brad, where you going in this ACC championship game? Dabo and the Tigers or the Ponies of SMU?
I'm rooting for SMU because I hate Dabo Sweeney. He's just
Yeah,
so arrogant up his own ass.
yeah,
Anyone
yeah.
that thinks you can't get a single guy out of the transfer portal because you're too good for that, you deserve to lose. I'm sorry. But both teams haven't fucking played anyone.
Yeah.
Like Clemson, they have not only have they not beat a team that is ranked, they've only beat one team with a winning record.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Come
I found
on.
that out today. No, I don't trust him. Klubnik, their quarterback, he's hot and cold. He's a hell of a quarterback. I think he can be good. But actually, so I knew nothing again about SMU. And
Mm,
Rashard Smith, their running back, actually has the third highest pro football focus grade in all of
ooh,
college football.
okay.
So I think it's just a product of the school that no one really knows about.
Yeah.
I'm SMU all day. I don't trust Clemson at all, and I hope they lose, and I think they will.
I like that pick. I like that pick. Great season from SMU. I do not trust Clemson at all. They're lucky Miami lost. They're lucky
Yeah,
Miami lost, or
they
their
shouldn't even be
season
in
be
here.
over. Their season should be
Yep,
over right now.
yep.
But damn it, I find myself leaning those Tigers of Clemson and Dabo, the experience. This is going to be the best team SMU has played this season. And like
Hmm.
we said, for Georgia playing in Atlanta, Clemson's playing in Charlotte. This game is about 2 hours
Fair.
from Greenville, South Carolina. And it's crazy, but the winner of this game gets a first round bye. Gets a first round bye.
Hmm.
The winner of this game is probably going to get a first round bye. That's nuts. I'm going the Tigers. You're going the Ponies in this one.
Yep, yep.
Last game, we got to talk about a big one here. I'm wearing the shirt Saturday, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on CBS. The Big Ten championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium in arguably my favorite city, Indianapolis, Indiana. We got the Nittany Lions, ranked third of Penn State, sitting at 11-1, taking on these Ducks of Oregon, the number one team in the nation, the only FBS undefeated team at 12-0. Oregon, they have ranked wins both at home over Ohio State and Illinois. That Ohio State game, that was a toss-up. That could have gone either way.
Hmm.
Strength of schedule for Oregon is 60th. Strength of record is first. Penn State, their only ranked win this year came at home versus Illinois. Only loss also came at home against Ohio State. That wasn't close. Strength of schedule for Penn State is 36th. Strength of record is fourth. This baby's going to be a good one. We all thought it was going to be Ohio State and Oregon here, but Ohio State shit the bed against Michigan. Penn State slides in there. What do you think about the Ducks and the Nittany Lions in Indianapolis, Brad?
Well, the Nittany Lions are the same thing every year. Everyone knows they're not good, but somehow they win games.
Somehow.
And then at the end of the year, they shit the bed. Like, they're not good. They lost, what, three offensive line starters to the NFL last year. And this is going to be a game about the defensive line. And I think Oregon goes like nine deep on the D line. They are going to dominate. I pick Oregon by 28 points.
Oh, four tutties?
Yeah.
Four tutties.
I think Penn State sucks. They're
Yeah.
like they have again, this is another thing like we talked about. They haven't played anyone. When these
Yeah.
conferences get so big, you get a lucky schedule, and that's why you're in there.
Imbalanced,
We'd
yeah.
rather see Oregon, Ohio State again. Even though I love to
We
see
would.
Ohio State lose, it makes me happy in my soul. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there
Yeah.
with you about Ohio State, and I'm right there with you with Oregon. I don't know about four tutties, but yeah, Penn State, they're not going to be able to score this game. Not going to be able to score.
No. No.
Penn State has lost their last 13 regular season games against top 10 opponents. And looking at Penn State's last 6 against those top 10 opponents, they've scored one or fewer offensive touchdowns in 4 of them. 4 out of their last 6 against top 10 opponents, they've failed to score 2 offensive tutties. That's not going to get it done against the number one team in the nation. Oregon coming in the Big Ten first year. Going to be the first time a new team has won the Big Ten in their
Hmm.
first year. Oregon's defense is going to dominate this game. Ducks all
Yeah.
the way. Ducks all the
Well,
way.
Oregon's got a Big Ten defense and a Pac-12 offense. You're screwed, Penn State. Yeah, sorry.
I like it, Brad. That's going to do us tonight, baby, for the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast, the College Football Championship Week Primer. We were on same page in some of those
Yeah.
games. We were a little off on some of them. I think we both think the Heisman's coming out here to Boulder, Colorado. But let's talk about this real quick. SMU, can they lose and still get in the playoff?
They're high enough in the rankings, but it's tough because, I mean, the Big 12 is a big factor in that because whoever wins that is going to have a really solid win to bump them up maybe 4 or 5 spots.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, if Clemson wins,
They're
oh,
in.
Jesus. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think SMU, I don't know. I think
SMU or Alabama? SMU or Alabama?
Oh, SMU. Screw Alabama. You had 3 losses. It's too late.
Nice. I
Too
like
late.
it.
You lost 3 times.
I like
Sorry,
it.
they only have 2. I know their schedule's not as great, but Alabama scored 3 points against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma can't stop a fucking nosebleed, okay?
Smack them.
Yeah. So, no, I don't. Alabama's too inconsistent. I think you got to give it to SMU. They've dominated more this year, and their 1 loss is a good one.
I like it. Brad, appreciate you coming out here, brother. Anything you got about your Cyclones, anything you got to tell the people, anything you got to say to Sam before you get out of here?
Oh, actually, I'm keeping up with him. I talk to him probably about once a week, but I'm going to say about the Cyclones, don't underestimate us like the rest of the country keeps doing. There's only, I think there was 2 schools in the country, 2 or 3 schools in the country that have a top 25 football, men's basketball, and women's basketball program.
Hello.
We're coming. We're going to take over all of it. And we don't got all the money the rest of you guys do. What's wrong? We have the best coaches.
Hey.
Sorry. And they're loyal.
I like it.
Yeah.
You got any tickets on Iowa State winning this thing?
What's that? Like spending money on?
You got any betting tickets? Yeah. On Iowa State?
No, I do not do that for my team in important games. If they're
I hear
whooping
you.
up on some small school, yeah, I'm all about it. But no, not in a game this important. I don't like winning the games. All I need.
I like it. All right, Brad. Well, you have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for everybody
Sounds good,
coming
boss.
out, and we'll talk to everybody next week.
See ya.